www.freedomslips.com.
Welcome, everyone, to I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter. And this week I have two very informed guests, and we are going to talk about something that I've been trying to get on for a while. I've just had so many people on about the major planet killers. I haven't really had time to fit in the people who are actually trying to make a difference. And so I've got with me this week Rafi Oneness and Michael Knight. They're both big proponents of the resource-based economy or hybrid community. And Rafi is actually working on a concrete example of one. And Michael has got a great Facebook site where he's promoting it and helping people work it out. So, folks, here we go with Rafi and Michael. Rafi, perhaps we could start with you because it's, I don't want to get you guys mixed up on the questions. So let's start with Rafi, and let's get a quick summary of why you got into the community that you're trying to establish in Quebec, right? A small town called Sutton, Quebec.
Yes. Hi, Brian. Hi, guys. I got into this about 3 years ago when I discovered a few people, including Michael Tellinger from Ubuntu, No Money World. And from that point on, I got really addicted by it. I've been at it for the last 3 years on a daily basis. We're just about researching this stuff, trying to find out what's out there. And through my researches, I got in touch with Michael about a year and a half ago, and he coached me a lot. And this has been a huge adventure. I've done many experiences towards creating a money-free world, which now we call it a sharing community. And it has been a blast. And the more I do it, the more I see where we're headed, and it's like the pieces of the puzzles are all falling down, and it's all. I'm really starting to see the vision and how easily and how fast things can happen. And I'm really focusing on the money aspect. I know there's a lot of activists out there, and there's a lot of projects, and there's a lot of attempts of accomplishing a lot of amazing things. And the reason why I'm mainly focusing on money is because I think it is the core problem of humanity. Every single aspect that problematic that you see on the planet, money is always there, and it's a big part of every single problem. So instead of working on 50 different projects and trying to fix 100 different problems, why not just focus on money itself? And by doing that, we will just remove 90% of the problems that we exist. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, I call it the money god. We're worshiping the wrong god. We should be worshiping the Mother Earth and not the money god. But I'll get back to you on that,
Yeah.
Rafi. Let's just get Michael a chance to get his 2 cents worth in here on this issue of the resource-based economy and sort of what his journey and where it took him and how he arrived where he is today.
Well, let's go back to elementary school. I remember one time around Halloween, they had us walking around house to house to collect money, trick or treat for UNICEF. Now, I had never seen a picture of a starving child or anything, so it was new to me. So the teacher was showing me this. I was in shock. My mother used to say, this kid's starving around the world, but you never saw a picture of him. So suddenly they're showing us these pictures, and I was in shock. I said, well, we got to do something about it. Well, being brainwashed, indoctrinated, born into and raised into a money system, as I got older, I asked, how do I help these people? Well, they need money. That's all I know. That's what I was brainwashed to know. So I became a real estate investor, small business owner. I was making decent money, and I would make donations to charities. So I figured I was doing my part. And yet, every 5 seconds, somebody's dying of starvation. I said, something's not right here. I couldn't figure out what it was. Then a friend of mine about 6 years ago said, hey, have you seen the movie Zeitgeist Addendum? I said, no, I haven't. And I didn't like the name, so I didn't watch it.
What was that again, Michael? Say the name of the movie.
Zeitgeist Addendum by Peter Joseph.
Okay.
And the name just sounded so weird, I didn't feel like watching it. But then about a week later, another friend of mine who was worth over $100 million said to me, "Hey, Michael, you're always talking about helping people." He says, "I just watched this video. I think you might like it." I said, "What is it?" He says, "Zeitgeist Addendum." Well, if this guy's telling me, I said, I got to watch Zeitgeist Addendum. So I start watching the movie, and the whole time I'm watching it, and they're talking about how money's the problem. And what are these people, crazy? These people are not. The whole 2 hours, I'm saying these people are crazy. How are we going to buy things without money? How are we going to pay for things without money?
Michael, just back off a bit, off the mic a bit. Just back up like a foot from the mic. You're distorting a bit. Okay, great. Keep going.
I said, how are we going to pay for things without money? These people are crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. But by the end of the video, I was like, oh, wow, these guys are, money is the problem. I never realized we were slaves. Here I am thinking I'm free. What do you mean I'm not free? I can go anywhere I want. No, if you don't have enough money, you can't go anywhere. So money's a slave. And in the last 6-7 years, I've been delving deeper into this issue, and I'm just in shock. I mean, money is nothing. It's created, printed, typed out of thin air. They don't print out the interest. So if you borrow $100,000 at 10% interest, at the end of the year you owe $110,000, but they never produce that $10,000 in interest, so it's never in the economy. So we got to go out there and fight each other and go to jobs to pay it back. And if we don't pay it back, we lose all our assets. And the whole thing is a complete scam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is quite amazing, and those that are who have studied the Muslim Bible, the Quran, will find that there's actually a whole chapter on why we cannot allow interest to be charged on any loan from a bank. It's quite amazing, actually, that they were that insightful in that religious text, because it really is the root of so many evils, interest.
Well, it's not only interest, it's money. Don't forget, if I borrow $100,000, even at zero interest, now I have to get it back in by people buying my product. If they don't buy my product, I go broke. I lose my house. I lose my car. If I'm married, I lose my wife and kids. Now I have nothing, all because I couldn't pay back a loan that was created, printed, typed out of thin air. The whole thing's a scam. I mean, what's the difference between what we call real money and monopoly money? The only difference is we all agree that the so-called real money is what we're going to use. We could say tomorrow the monopoly money is going to be the money we use, and that's what we'll start using. If you go back in time, they said seashells were used as money. So you can imagine you go to work. Rafi works all week. He comes see me. I'm the boss. Okay, Rafi, here's your seashells. You know, people would laugh about that. I said, but seashells are more real than money. Seashells exist in nature. Money doesn't. So you come to me, you want something that is created, printed, typed out of thin air, that you have to be a slave your whole life for. It's just crazy. Now, Rafi learned more about it too. He'll tell you about it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you guys on this, the issue of worshiping a money god. I mean, we really, it's the most incredible manipulative control mechanism. And as you say, I mean, unless you have a lot of it, you're not free. And even the ones that have a lot of it can easily lose it at any point in time. It really is like a gambling casino nonstop. And it certainly isn't a good foundation for any sort of society or a collective of people. It makes no sense. So what do you see, Rafi? What do you see as a better system than the money system that we presently have? How does it work for you in what you're trying to do?
The better system starts with a mind change. We need to start thinking differently, because if we maintain the mind change, all we're going to do is reproduce exactly the same system as we have at the moment, with different words, with different people on top, and the same problems and same division and same nonsense. So all we need to do is just a click in the mind, as I tell people. We need to make the click in the mind and understand that why money has become ridiculous in today's society. We talked about loans. We talked about interest. For me personally, obviously that's only a small part of why money is ridiculous. The biggest objection that I have towards money is that we do not need it anymore. There's abundance for everyone. for the essential needs, for material to build houses, for food to be grown, with all the technology and all the advancements we have, all the land that we have, all the people, knowledgeable people they can work. We can even make robots who will do the sweat job, factory works. And humans don't have to work in those jobs anymore. We have technology. We can create abundance for everyone. We can produce 100 times more than we need. So why are we still functioning in a monetary system? It doesn't make sense anymore. It's outdated, totally outdated. It is not. It doesn't has no use for it anymore. But we still keep on doing it, just like religion. We believe in it. We think this is our God. This is the only way to go. Without it, we will starve to death. No one will do anything. And this is a belief system. It's a mind change. We need to change our minds. That's all we need to do. We should not think about creating a different system. Just every single individual on the planet have to start thinking differently. That's all we need to do, and the rest will happen by itself. It's going to be fun.
Okay, so what is this different type of thinking, Rafi? What are you recommending? What is the new consciousness that you're trying to create?
About 2 years ago, when I was really deep in the awakening phase of my life towards money, after a couple of months of mini depression, I decided finally to put two price tags on my items, on the retail items, my cost and my retail price, regular retail price, and I let the customers decide which price they have to, whatever price they want to pay between the cost and retail. So I let them decide.
Well,
So
what are you selling, Rafi? Maybe you should explain that.
I have a shoe repair shop in Sutton, Quebec, Canada. I also do a lot of retail items, bags, handbags, wallets, that kind of stuff. Um, so the mind change I'm talking about, I did it for myself. The reason why I put the two price systems is to get myself out of the fear factor of my attachments of money, my fear of lack of money. We can do this in, I mean, 1,000 different ways. I did it that way. I did it for 2 years, and about 4 months ago, 2 years later, I stopped doing that because it had done its job. I had evolved. I had detached myself sufficiently towards money. And what I'm doing now is creating a community sharing, so ICS, intentional community sharing. We're at the moment 21 members, and all we're doing in this is just giving each other free services. My shop is free for all the 21 members, and and at the moment, I feel that the people that I've known for a while now, they're starting to get it slowly. They understand the language that I'm talking about. 2 years ago, I could talk to somebody and they would give me 10 reasons why no money world is not a good idea. At the moment now, we're down to two reasons, for example. And those two reasons are just barely hanging on because I could give them a couple of arguments. It will take me a minute and a half. That's it. It's gone. And it's a process. It could take months. It could take years. It could take a lifetime. Depends on each individual, how courageous we are, our past experiences, and the way how enlightened I am in the moment, in the present moment, and where do I want to be in 10 years. So there's a lot of factors that comes in mind.
Okay, Rafi, I just want to ask you, when you had this other system where you offered basically a no profit price for yourself and a retail price, did you find the customers were allowing you to make a profit, or were they choosing the lower price?
I'd say, depending on the items, majority of the customers were giving somewhere in between. If it's a high price tag items, obviously it goes closer to the cost. On small items, shoe products, polishes, laces, it was very rare somebody gave me less than the full price.
Okay. So you found that people had a general instinct to be fair.
Yes, very few. I mean, I felt that very few really took advantage of it. Maybe in the 2 years that I've dealt with, maybe five people, they would knowingly pay less than what they can actually afford. I mean, just to give an example of, we're talking about mind change. A lady came, she bought a product, and the product was $45, and my cost was 20. She gave me 25. About 3 weeks later, she came back to the store, apologizing to me nonstop, She said, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was thinking, and she gave me $10 extra. So this lady, it planted a seed while she was buying. She didn't really think twice before giving me almost at cost. And for 3 weeks later, I was in shock that she came, and she kept apologizing while she was leaving. She was outside, she was still apologizing. She felt so bad about something. So I don't know what the process she lived through, but she lived through something. And to me, that was very encouraging, that finally people are not, they're not as insensitive as sometimes we think they are. People live processes. They, when somebody gives the minimum and they can give the maximum, the regular price, that person will get in the car while that person is driving to their place. They're thinking about the whole process. When the person takes the product and starts using it, they will think about the process. So it's an amazing adventure. So we have to start, opening up to ourselves to experiences, and let's experiment, and let's trust each other. Let's trust in the process of the mind change with ourselves to start with.
Hmm. And Michael, you've tried too to set up something concrete and real, and you haven't had any success up until this point in time. Although you've probably given people a lot of good guidance, but with where you live now in the U.S., you haven't had any success.
Now, I'm in the Northeast United States, and the people around here, they all know me from my business, so they know I've been successful in the past, so they respect me, but they look at me like I'm strange, and they all say it sounds good, but it'll never happen. Well, you could say that about anything, right? If I say, let's open a pizza place, you could say, well, it sounds good, but it'll never happen. Well, if we don't open the pizza place, it won't open.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but you see, your role in this whole thing is to educate, and that's an incredibly important role in all this stuff, right? So Rafi said he's talked to you, and you've given him some really good, insights and ideas, and it's. I think Rafi's right. It really is. It's an ability to see another way of doing things that actually is a better way, and that's to work within a shared economy, right? And that's the hard thing for people to grasp, but that once people understand it and start participating in it, then they say, hey, this makes sense. This is a better system.
Well, you need to remember, the system we're existing under, this fake money system, is a system of scarcity. Like I said, the interest required to pay back the loans is never put out into the economy. So there's never enough money to pay back the loans. It doesn't exist. So everybody has to be scarcity. And like Jacques Fresco said, if I own a light center and you own a light center, and a customer comes in and says to me, whose lights are better, yours or Brian's? Well, if I say Brian, they're going to go to Brian's shop. So I make no money. I got bills to pay. I can't pay my loans back. I lose my business. I lose money. Now I have nothing. See, it's the scarcity mindset. It's systemic violence. The system itself causes the greed. You could say humans are naturally greedy. I don't believe that. We've been raised into a greed system of scarcity. Because the mindset change is very simple. Just take the letters, capital letter M, capital letter E, right? Me. Turn that M upside down to we. Once you're thinking in the we mindset, you stop thinking, what do we need money for? We don't need money. When you're thinking in the me mindset, in a money system, I used to talk to my father about this every day. And his response was, I don't see how are we going to buy anything in a no money world. You could see the fear in his eyes that he was going to lose his pension and he wouldn't have money to pay his bills. And I said, there's no bills in a no money world. What aren't you getting about this? This was 6 years. I talked to him every day. He could not get it. He couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Well, people are going to steal from you. Why would you steal? If I got apples in my house, I got 4 apples in my house, you're going to break in my house to steal 4 apples when you can go to the distribution center and get 100 apples. What are you going to steal? You need a TV. You go to the distribution center, you get a TV. Anything you need. We got 3D printers now that can print out almost anything, including houses and cars. So there is no lack anymore. But at the same time, we have to remember one foundational approach. We cannot have infinite growth on a finite planet. So just because there's abundance doesn't mean everybody can have a car. There's 4 billion adults on the planet, and right now there's about 1 billion cars. Could you imagine the destruction to this planet if everybody had a car, even if it's free? You'd have to knock down 300% more trees to build 300% more roads, 300% more garages, 300% more parking spaces. You can't do that on a finite planet. Not to mention the pollution from the mining and all that. So that's where the sharing comes in. And like Jacques Fresco says, you don't need to own something, you need access to it. So if I need a ride, as long as I have a ride, I don't need to own a car and have it sit in my driveway for 23 hours a day. That's craziness, especially now with self-driving cars coming out. You'll be able to go on your phone, punch it in, within 5 minutes you'll have a car pick you up, take you where you need to go, drop you off, and take off and go pick up someone else. There's no need for parking spaces, no need for parking garages, because you won't own a car anymore. It'll be community owned, humanity owned. Your house, you won't own your house. You'll live in that house that you're living in as long as you want to live there. If you decide you want to move, you don't have to sell it. It's a no money world. There's no selling because no one has any money. You just say, if I want to go move to Aspen, Colorado, I get on the computer. Are there any openings for housing in Aspen, Colorado? No. Okay, how about Snowmass, Colorado, down the street? Yes, there's an opening. Okay, reserve that for me. I'll be coming there. I notify the people in town, whoever I got it on the computer. I'm vacating this house. I'm moving to Colorado. So my house will be available next week for anybody who wants to come move here.
Yeah, there's actually a few networks now where you can vacation house share.
Yeah.
So you basically say, I want to go to, I want to go to Egypt. Who from Egypt wants to come to where I live, say Toronto? And then you go on the site and you do a trade. Yeah, that's the same idea. But you're talking about actually moving and sharing versus just a few weeks.
Well, yeah, in a no money world, you could go to a different city every week and live there. And depending on how much technology is used, I'm not big on a lot of technology. I'm a basic, simple guy. So I'm happy in like what would be considered an eco community now, up in the mountains somewhere. I'd be happy with that. I don't need any big fancy apartment-style complex to be living in. But if I'm only moving around from week to week, yeah, I'll stay in a city here and there, see the cities, meet people I've met on Facebook, face to face.
But we need some sort of infrastructure, some sort of information infrastructure to make all this work. Is there anybody who's put something like that together?
Well, the infrastructure already exists, like you just said. That page that you use that you can share houses around the world. We have everything we need. The only thing we don't have right now is enough people with the right mindset. Once they have the mindset, money will just disappear because money has one major weakness. It needs us using it more and more every single year. Otherwise, it collapses. So when Rafi, who's now doing his intentional sharing community, he's got 21 people in there. Let's say one person's a barber. Well, that barber is cutting 21 people's hair for free. Now, in the money world, he might be getting $20 per person, and the government would be getting taxes on that money. But now, there's no money involved, so there's no taxes being paid. Suppose these 21 people share just 2 cars, and they each own a car right now. They would get rid of 19 cars. That's 19 less insurance policies, 19 less car taxes you're paying, 19 less cars being repaired. So that's where the hybrid and the sharing community comes in. We're guiding the collapse because the money system's collapsing on itself now with technological unemployment and the interest that can't be paid back. It's collapsing on itself now. Where we end up, do we end up in some dictatorship or do we end up as free people? That's where the resource-based economy, contributionism, community sharing, that's where that aspect takes us. So we guide it. We have to guide the collapse. Like Jacques Fresco says, we have to wait for the collapse. No, and the collapse comes, it's going to be a lot of problems. A lot of people are going to die. Because most people see their mindset is, if I don't get paid, I'm not going to work. So if money was to crash tomorrow, what does that mean? Everybody's growing food is going to stop growing food now because there's no money? If that happens, how many billions of people are going to die? So that's why we're changing the mindset. We're showing people work as a community. Like Michael Tellinger says, the people that enjoy growing food, they grow food. And the good news is, it's only 3 hours a week per person, just to make sure that everybody in the community gets what they need. But if you enjoy doing something, you'll do it as much as you want. Like one of our members, Kim Brayman, out in Colorado, she's got about 10 people in her group. She says, I'll work 40 to 80 hours a week. I enjoy growing food. I enjoy being a beekeeper. I enjoy taking care of elderly people. I hate sitting around. She says, I'll work what I'm doing now, 40 to 80 hours a week, no problem. But I'll be free. I won't have that stress over me. Oh, no, I need money. Oh, if I don't have any money, I can't eat. It just takes away all the stress.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, Rafi, maybe you could break it down for us in terms of what you're actually doing in specifics there in Sutton, Quebec.
Yeah, I love to. The first meeting I called was about 4 months ago. We had about 30 people who showed up. 15 of them didn't really get it. The other 15 are still in it. And we've come to 21 members at the moment. So the way it works is it's so simple. I don't know how to explain. They just give each other free services. My shop is available. I mean, for free to all the members. If there's any cost involved, out-of-pocket expense of material that we can ask for if we have to, if you want to, that's totally acceptable. And that's about it. And all that happens is we reduce our cost of living. It's a transition towards an RBE, a no money world. And the second thing that happens is we are also creating relations. We are creating hope, trust between each other, and that is extremely lacking. I mean, if you had to pinpoint why are we still in monetary system and why aren't we sharing our resources like we do with family members, neighbors, friends, is because we are separated from one another. We do not trust each other. We think that anybody can be a thief. Even friends can be thieves. Yes, that's true. That is true, but only in the monetary system. That will no longer be true, like Michael said. It doesn't make sense anymore to be thieves or to lie, because we have a different mindset, because we will be living in a different paradigm. We will not be in this reality anymore. So that's another difficult part of that people have, thinking, imagining what that reality will be, but they are using the present mindset reality, and that doesn't work. You have to start thinking in the new reality. How will things be? Just use your imagination, just like a child does. A child it's so easy for a child to explain this to them, and they will get it. They will get it. They'll understand it, and not only they understand it, they probably think that's the way it is at the moment. No, it's not. Sorry, you're in a big surprise once you grow up. The planet, the system we live in is anything but just and neutral and zen, and we're living in such an environment that is out of our nature, that is illogical to live in. So that's basically it. We're meeting every Thursday, once a week, and we talk about how to do things. We just found an amazing site called Hylo, HYLO. So we are using the site to put our demands, what we have to offer and what we need from the group, from the ICS group, and that's it. It's advancing nicely, and it's a slow process. We have to be patient, but at the same time, it's probably going to be a tipping point at one point once people start looking at ourselves happy and productive and saving money and creating relations, becoming more healthy spiritually and even physically, mentally. Maybe then the gates will come open, and will grow much faster than we are at the moment.
So you've got 21 people who have different types of employment,
Yeah.
and they're offering their services. Is there not like did you not, my understanding is you put like a 5-hour allotment on those services, but you're sharing that time. It isn't.
No. What Michael was talking about earlier about 3 hour, that's probably more further down the line once we have villages operating this way. At the moment, we're not really putting any time frame. The only thing we're asking for people is to be as active as possible. That's one. And secondly, active meaning receiving and giving both. Because if we only want to give because we're too shy to receive, then that doesn't work. We need both. It takes two to make a transaction, or to make a sharing community. And second thing we're asking for people is not to receive way more than what they give, obviously. So because that wouldn't work, and it would create a distrust, and we don't want that. But it's really not a problem, because the problem at the moment what we have is that everybody wants to give, not too many want to receive, because we feel uncomfortable. Again, the mindset. We are working on the mindset still. Even myself, I've been in it for 3 years. I'm telling you, this is something. It sticks to the brain. I'm having hard time getting rid of it. I'm the one who gives the most in the group. I'm the founder, and I have a shop. I have a business, so it's easy for me to give. I offer a lot of services, and so week after week and week after week, it's the same things we hear. Everyone is that I'm having trouble to ask for services for free because we feel cheap. We don't want to take advantage, but it's not taking advantage. Not everybody gets it mentally. We get it, but when time comes to really ask for it, uh, discomfort comes in. But that's a part of the process, of the healing process. That's okay.
Yeah, there's a guy named Ken Keyes. He wrote a book called Handbook to Higher Consciousness, and I think he's right. I think pretty much everything we learn becomes addictive. In order to change that, you have to change it into a preference, and it takes a lot of mental work to get to the point where you can look at the world from a preferential point of view versus an addictive point of view. So everything we learn, of course, money is, we start to learn that when we're 2 years old, the importance of money. And so after, 30, 40 years of learning about something, it does take a while to rewire that part of the brain. And
for me, for the child, I have three kids. I have my smallest one is 8 years old. When she was around 5 years old, I really had a aha moment when my 5 years old at the time went to my cash register and opened it up, or asked me to open it up. And once she opened up, she said, "Wow!" When she saw the money, her eyes were glowing. When I saw that, I was at the beginning of the awakening of the money free world. When I saw that, I said, "Okay, something has to be done. It is urgent." When the 5-year old sees money and her eyes are glowing, there is something extremely terrible in society that a 5-year old does that to when they see money. So if it starts that early, we're in deep trouble in the future. So moments like that have fueled me to and motivated me to go towards a money free world, because I do not want to contaminate my kids' minds. And ever since then, I've been trying all ways, and I've talked to her. I've done exercises. For example, not long after that, she said, can I take money from the cash? So if I were to say no, I would. What I'm doing by doing that, I'm reinforcing her belief in money, that money is valuable. Dad doesn't want me to touch money. So I said, yeah, take whatever you want. Money is BS, in the kids' language. And she started taking money from the cash, and I was dealing with discomfort, because the belief is in my blood that money is something's valuable. We need it. So she started taking. Then she came to the big bill, $20 bill. She asked me, "Can I take this?" I said, "Yeah, take it. It's nothing. It's not a problem." So she took it. I didn't know. I didn't want to look at her, what she was doing. So she took it to her mom afterwards. I found out that she showed the money to her mom. But all this to say is that how indoctrinated are we in believing in the God of money? And it really is a religion. And Michael said it nicely. It's something that does not exist. It's a piece of paper. Shells are worth way more than money. And why aren't we collecting shells and exchanging shells? That would make much more sense than money, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, the Kogi people would agree.
Yeah.
Aboriginal people who live in Colombia, they use the shells and they make lime out of it, and it's a big part of their sacred ritual.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
And another point I like
it's a
to.
useful thing. A
Yeah,
shell has
it
some
is. Yeah.
purpose.
Well, it's more useful than money. That's for sure.
It's connected
Uh,
to the biosphere.
one thing I wanted to also specify is that probably your listeners will, a lot of them say, "Oh, yeah, I agree. I think barter is the way to go." I am not talking about barter or trade. Barter is, to me, identical to money. Like I said before, it's not a system change that I'm proposing. It's a mindset change that I'm proposing, and barter is the same mindset as money. It's still in separation. It still has a value. Like Michael was saying, the light bulbs, light fixtures. If somebody comes and my competition, I'll have a competition in the bartering system also. I'm always competing with others. I'm not cooperating. So if somebody comes, it says, let's say in my case, I'm a shoemaker. There's not a shoemaker 15 minutes away from me here. So will I send the customers to that shoemaker and lose a chance to barter something valuable from a customer? Of course not. Of course not. I'm gonna say, yeah, I can do the job. Yeah, I'm available. I can do it fast. Even maybe in some certain types of job, maybe that shoemaker is better than me. But there's no way in hell I'm gonna say that in a bartering system. So it's exactly identical to money. So bartering, I'm not interested either.
Okay, so how do you differentiate between bartering and what you're doing now?
I'm gifting. Um, I'm when in
Like,
our
accepting
community.
anything in return is what you're saying. That's what gifting is versus bartering.
That's it. Somebody from the ICS members. They come, they fix their shoes at my shop. I don't ask anything in return. Uh, it, but one day, if that person has something to offer, I'll ask to receive it, and she will probably give it to me. So there's a huge nuance, huge difference between the two. Some people don't really get the difference. They don't see it yet. Um, in a sharing
You're
economy,
having faith. You're having faith that people at some point are going to, offer
well,
you something when you need it. I mean,
uh,
that's a
yeah,
different system, though. I agree.
yes, of course. But besides the faith aspect of it, technically, in a like I said, in the bartering system, I have competitors. The other shoemaker of the other village is a competitor. In a gifting system, that other shoemaker is a collaborator. We are partners together. So if I am booked, if I don't have any, if somebody comes in and wants the shoe right now by tomorrow morning, but I can, my waiting period at the moment, it says 2 weeks, but I'm not gonna tell her to go to the other shoemaker. In a sharing economy, I will. In a sharing economy, I would love that other shoemaker to be at least as busy as me, because that would be taking away my charge of responsibilities. You follow me?
Oh yeah.
In a bartering system or a money system or Bitcoin system or whatever system you bring, that does not exist. The only place that exists is in the sharing economy. Nowhere else that exists. And that is what I'm aiming for. And I will not accept anything less than that. That's what we deserve. That's what we can get. Everything is in place. We just have to change our minds. That's all we have to do.
So Rafi, based upon the fact that you can draw on the services of 20 other people,
Mhm.
which is pretty nice. Do you actually have to buy anything anymore? Are you having all your basic needs met through these other people that you're connected with?
We are still far. I am still far of being totally self-sufficient. Maybe my cost of living has dropped. I don't know, a rough estimate between 10 and 20%. I mean, I still put gas. I still pay rent. My landlord is not in the group at the moment. Um, Food costs me about the same as anyone else. So it's not. We're not there yet to say that I'm almost off grid, for example. We're not there yet. But again, because we're not sufficiently uh, enough to with a mindset change. It's coming. It's working. People are working on it, willingly or unwillingly. People are working on it.
Okay, so if there was, see, I'm trying to see how would it work for a landlord to give free rent to you, or say you, yeah,
That's
renting.
I'm working on that plan at the moment. I'm hoping from now to until summer to get a restaurant which is in the ICS group. Once we get food involved in it, not free food but at cost food, that could be a game changer. Then I could go to the landlords and say, listen, I've already spoke with the landlord 2 years ago. I said I'll offer. He's a customer of mine, free repairs in exchange of a discount of of not free rent, but discount of rent. It wasn't very interesting for him, but I knew that at the beginning. I just wanted to see his reaction. But now we're 20 members. There's a massage therapist, there's dog groomer, there's a hairdresser, there's a lot of services available. If we add to that restaurant at cost, now it's starting to get interesting, I think. So I would probably approach him again once that happens, and we'll take it from there.
So you would, I'm just trying to figure out concretely how it would work. You'd offer him access to the group in exchange for free rent. Is that how it would work?
That's right. Well, either free rent or much cheaper rent.
Okay.
We're flexible. It doesn't have to be free. If the rent costs, let's say $1,000, and he's saving $100 a month, doesn't make sense to ask for free rent. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make sense. So we'll have to be wise and flexible and invent ways of introducing people.
So you're still thinking in the mindset. I mean, it's very hard. That's where I like Michael's idea of the hybrid. I mean, it's very hard to completely divorce ourselves from a system that is basically controlling everything, the money god. So what you can do is move yourself away from it, but it's very hard to completely divorce yourself until more people are doing it.
Yeah, Michael can answer that.
Let it rip, Michael.
Well, that's where hybrid came about. When I was first listening to Jacques Fresco, and he was talking about we needed to build cities in that, well, that came back to money again, and I still couldn't see how we made the transition at that point. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm watching one of his videos, and he said, well, the resource-based economy really has nothing to do with the fancy buildings and all that. He said, it's a mindset change. And as soon as he said that, I said, well, if it's just a mindset change, we can do that right now. And I said, okay, well, what are we going to pay? See, I had this idea for a financial freedom group. I was a real estate investor, and I went to a lot of seminars, and some of these seminars got expensive, and you could pay, $10,000 to $25,000 in a year going to these seminars. And as I went to these seminars, I met a lot of the same people, and they weren't doing anything because they were afraid. And I said, a good idea would be to have a group together. Everybody pitches in $100 a week. We get about 100 people, and we stop buying real estate together that we can all live in together, get discounts on rents, and we'll have other tenants in there helping to keep our rent low because we use their rent money to pay our expenses. So that was about 15 years ago, and I just kept it on the back shelf because in the money system, anytime you try and collect money with people, there's a lot of headaches and problems. So I just put it on the back shelf. But as soon as Jacques Fresco said about it's a mindset change, I said, oh, wait a minute, I could use the financial freedom thing and just take away most of the money out of it, but we still need money to pay our property taxes. We still need to pay insurance on the property. We still need, if we have cars, we have to pay car insurance. We've got to put gas in the car. So we still need some money. So that's where the hybrid came in. But we don't need to use money between members. Now, not everybody in a town can be a member unless the town is able to make enough money to pay everyone's bills. There's a town in Germany, I don't know if you heard about it, they have renewable energy, and they make 300% plus more renewable energy than they use. They sell that to surrounding towns for millions of dollars in profit. Well, if you're in a small town of about 1,000 people, and you can sell 300% of the energy to the people in towns around you, now your whole town could basically be living pretty much free. They wouldn't have to pay property taxes anymore. Now, you'd still have to pay insurance, but if there's enough money coming in from the renewable energy, that would pay everybody's insurance. It would help if most of the people already had their house paid off, because they're going to deal with mortgages and all that. But growing food, there's that guy up in, I think it's Wisconsin or something, or Chicago. On 3 acres, he's growing 1 million pounds of food a year indoors. The food is simple to get free. It just takes some people to do the work.
Milwaukee, he is. Yeah.
Is it Milwaukee here?
Yeah. He feeds 10,000 people.
Yeah.
10,000 poor people.
On 3 acres.
Oh, gifting, Rafi. Yeah. He's a beautiful man, and he's actually very busy setting up workshops all over the place. I've tried to get him on the show. His name just escapes me, but yeah, he's a beautiful spirit. What he's done.
I remember Kim Brayman, who's in Colorado, attended one of his workshops, and she's doing setups like that. She's doing inside people's houses and things like that. So they're growing food in Salida, Colorado. They're giving food away. It's not big yet, just a few people involved, about 10 people. They're sharing houses together, single people. See, this is my idea for hybrid was if you got 4 single people and they're all renting a 1-bedroom apartment and it's costing them $800 a month, well, they can go together and rent one 4-bedroom house. It's probably only going to cost them about $400 a month. So each of them saves $400. That's $1,600 a month they're saving total. They could use that to now put up a greenhouse. Now the 4 of them get rid of 3 of their cars and they share 1 car. Well, you see how that starves the money system? I call that starving the beast. You're taking away the money system's power.
I guess the only price you pay is that you have to learn to cooperate with other people and maybe compromise a bit on your freedom to just do what you want.
Just a little bit, because you could have a small house. You guys could build small houses together. Now, because I'm a real estate investor, that's where a lot of these ideas came from. You could buy, say, a 12-unit building as a community, keep 3 of those units for community members. Let's say they're 2-bedroom apartments. That's 6 bedrooms. Well, 6 single people can live in those bedrooms. They all live for free, and the other 9 apartments, their rent, even at a discount below what anybody else in the neighborhood charges, covers all our bills. So right there, we got free housing, we got free utilities for those 6 people. And now they just help out in hybrid. I call it 20 hours a week. Once we get to a no-money world, it'll be like Michael Tellinger says, we're at 3 hours a week. And less in most cases.
So have you, either one of you looked at the eco-village model, where this is my preference, is where everyone basically pitches in to meet the basic needs, be it food, lodging, energy. They share those responsibility costs, whatever it's labor or a little bit of money may be involved, especially when you're starting up. You've got to build everything from scratch often. But once that's set up, then after that, you're basically meeting your basic needs, and then after that, everyone sets up their own little microeconomy, and they may agree to share all the money. They may let people keep the money for their own personal needs or whatever they want to do with it. So to me, that is another option, is to set up like an eco community.
Yeah, eco communities, every one of them is living the hybrid method. They just don't call it that because they don't know that we call it that. But they work together, they share in all the work. The money that comes in from what they generate, if they grow food, they sell food. If they have services like construction, the guys who do the construction go out and do jobs, and all the money comes into the community, and the community uses that money to pay expenses. But between each other, they don't use any money.
Yeah, I mean, there's many ways of doing it. I mean, like I say, a lot of the people I know that are doing it, they basically share in. The great thing about it is that once you put in the initial time and effort and whatever money is required, you basically live for nothing. And then then your need to actually make money, this is the best way to escape the money god system, is to create all your needs and fulfill all your needs locally. And then you're really scot-free. And then it's just a matter of, well, do you want to have a car? Do you want to have this? But I mean, some of these communities have like hundreds of people in them, and I mean, they don't need education because they got all the people there that have the skill sets, so they can teach the children. They don't have to go to school outside of the community. There's also a travel network where you can actually go between eco villages, so you don't have to pay to stay anywhere. So, like you say, it's a similar model. And it's already actually been around for quite some time too. And the Findhorn started, I think, this whole movement back in the early '60s. Other than the fact that there's Aboriginal communities still have been doing it for millennia, this whole movement is to get back to the natural way of doing things.
Yeah. Well, you need to look at this. This is basically one big, huge work for room and board. And when we get to the end result, it'll be 3 hours work. Right now, if we do it in the hybrid way, it's 20 hours a week for each member. But that's all it is. You hear the guy, the no money man. Well, he still uses money. He just doesn't touch money. He does work for people who give him room and board and transportation. But they still have to use money to pay for that house, to pay the mortgage, to pay the rent, to pay for the taxes, the insurance, the water, the sewer, the electric, the heat, the car, all that stuff. He's just using their money. He just doesn't touch money. But he still needs money because we exist in a money system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it really, it's just once you got your basic need met, then it's a matter of how much do you want to integrate in with the systems that require money still. If you're very happy to sit at home and or stay in your community and do your artwork, or teach music lessons or teach meditation or yoga or whatever, you don't have to go too far. But it's when you want to go beyond your community, that's when you got to buy into this other model, the money god model. So a lot of it is personal choice once you got your basic needs met.
Well,
And that's the
especially
way.
like I said, with the 3D printers coming out, they're printing clothes, they're printing shoes, like I said, they're printing cars and houses, they're printing jewelry, they're printing tools, utensils, anything you will need, you can 3D print. I mean,
Yeah.
that right there is going to destroy capitalism. 3D. Rafi has a 3D printer.
Oh yeah, Rafi, what do you use it for?
At the moment, we're just experimenting. I bought it. My son is using it. He's in charge of it. For now, it's not much. Personally, I'm not focusing on that at the moment. 3D printers and eco villages, it's fine and dandy. That's not really necessarily what's gonna create the mind change. I am my passion and my heart goes in the working on the mindset change, myself and others also. Eco villages for me, it is a very nice experience. I've gone to a couple of them to visit them. The biggest one that in Canada is about 2 hours away from me here. So I had a nice few-hour tour, and what I understood from them is that 9 out of 10 eco villages fail, and theirs succeeded. They've in existence for about 30 years. They've went through hell, a lot of experiences, bankruptcies. At the moment, the original founders of the eco village wanted to create a sharing community, wanted to get out of money and barter and accounting.
Okay, folks, we're getting up to the end of the first hour. We'll be back soon with more of. Welcome back to I'm Nature. I'm your host, Brian Porter, and I want to invite people to call in to join in the discussion. We're talking about hybrid resource-based economies, gifting economies, anything that's going to try to or help us get away from the money god complex, the idea that everything has to be monetized. There's all sorts of mental and spiritual benefits to doing this sort of thing. So the number here is 310 421 4053. I'll say that again, 310 421 4053. And we also have another person joining the call. The other option is to send me a Skype message at bporter5611, bporter, Porter 5611. That's my Skype handle. And if you send me a friend request, if you're not already a friend, I'll grab you and bring you into the studio. I've got Warren Trammell here with me to ask some questions. But before we get back to our discussion, I have to put in my plug for this great network called Revolution Radio. In a way, it's a hybrid community or resource-based community. Everybody here is working and putting in their time. It's a gifting economy. Nobody's paid. We all believe strongly in our programs and whether it's based on spirituality or changing the economic system or offering a more realistic view of political events. We're all in this together. We're all trying to help everyone. It's all about the we and not the me. But we do need a little bit of money to run the station. So the hybrid part of it is that I suggest we all kick in $5 a month, get the archives, or just throw in $5 if you want. But archives and 90 shows, download them, put them on your phone, stick them on your computer and listen to them, when it's more convenient. Maybe 10 o'clock to midnight's a bit late for you. So, you listen to it the next day or whenever. So, folks, yeah, you got to support the station, and we keep plugging along, and we keep making our quota every month. But I always have to say that it's important that we all do our little bit to help Revolution Radio stay on the air. Now, okay, so we have Warren Trammell here. Warren is a friend of mine. He's a political insider, and I'm not sure what he has to ask, but let's see what Warren wants to ask of our two guests.
It's a really great show tonight, guys, and I appreciate being on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good, Warren. You're good.
Oh, very good.
A bit closer. Maybe a bit closer.
All right, is that a little better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I heard in the conversation, I heard a term that I'm really not familiar with, and that is the hybrid community. It sounds very different and sounds very good. I just can't imagine how you would start doing a hybrid community. Can you guys kind of, give some kind of hints or ideas on how people would start one of these kind of communities?
Michael, why don't you answer first?
Well, you do exactly what Rafi's doing. You find other people and you start sharing. While Rafi's sharing with his people, he still has to pay his rent. He still has to pay to put gas in his car. He still has to pay for insurance. That's why you can't have everybody in town being a member right now in the money economy. Otherwise, there'd be no money coming in. You still need customers coming in who are not part of the group, and you charge less than, say, a neighboring competing business who's not a member charges. So let's say you were selling, I don't know, apples, and he charges $2 for his apples. Well, we charge $1.75, and if you're a member, you might get the apple for 25 cents or even free.
Wow, that's interesting. I kind of sort of do something like that here. The man that I work for here, and I do several different things for him. Okay, but in exchange for the different things that I do for him, he gives me a free place to live, and we go out of town here very much, and so usually when we go out of town, we eat lunch somewhere, and he always buys my lunch. So that's kind of the exchange that I have with him, is working for him, doing what I do, and in exchange he gives me a free place to live and buys my lunch almost every day. And if we have a really special project, like last week, we had a special project that required a great deal of physical labor, and I can do physical labor, but not for a long period of time. But this was 2 days of really hard physical labor, and he paid me cash money, for the hard labor, and we probably have maybe 1 or 2 of those or 3 of those a week to do. He has another guy that will come in sometimes. He has a farm here, and he has a couple of tractors, and I'm not really good on driving tractors, so he has another guy that comes in and drives the tractors for him. But if we have to dig ditches or dig holes or move equipment and so forth, I do that kind of physical labor for him. Like he got a today in the mail, in the delivery service, UPS sent him a part for one of his big trucks, and it was about a 20 or 30 pound piece of equipment, which would be really difficult for him to pick up and carry. And so, I picked up the heavy box and carried it, to the car, and and then carried it, to the house for him. So, and I do something like that probably every day, 2 or 3 times a day. So there's between the physical work and the administrative work that I do, that that pay uh, that pays for for what I do for him, and the way he pays me. So it's a really good relationship, and so I can see that working on a community basis, and I can see that working with food. Uh, we live in a farm area, and we just we need somehow to start us a program of some kind of growing food here and using it in a barter type system. And that's what we need to get started. And I have talked to Brian about that, and we don't have a we have I haven't figured out a a good way to start that yet. But that's something that we want to do.
Warren, you gotta
So
you gotta understand something here, Warren. That this is a good point.
okay,
That's why I said earlier. Many people that I explained what we're doing, they confuse that with the bartering system. Bartering system is way better. If I had to choose between bartering system and the monetary system, I would obviously choose the bartering system. But what we're doing is quite different to what you just described. In a
okay,
gift economy, if you cannot handle physical work, we will not give you any physical work because you are precious. We value your health, and we will not give you any physical work. Not only that, we will have massage therapists running all over you and trying to fix your problems and make you as healthy as possible. There's no way in hell, Warren, in a gift economy, I would give you any type of physical work that your body will cannot handle. So that to me is a major difference between what you described and what we are trying to accomplish.
well, the kind of physical work that I do is not hard. It's not impossible for me to do. I can do it. Now there is some physical work that I cannot do, and we know that, we recognize that, and so
Yeah.
I know what my
But
I know what my limitations are.
and the other difference is that the person whom you are sharing with, gifting, does not necessarily gift you back. Gifting economy is one way. It's not two ways. You don't gift if somebody gifts back. That means if once, let's say, uh, for any reason you will never you won't be able to provide that person you're talking about anymore for whatever reason. That person is most likely will tell you that I'm sorry, I cannot give you housing anymore because you're not giving any services. That is not gifting economy. That is a bartering system.
I understand. I agree. I understand that.
Yeah, those are the two major differences, and they're major.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
And
understand.
can I just want to ask a question, guys. Rafi and Michael, were you either one of you part of the Zeitgeist movement? I guess Michael's mentioned Fresco a few times, but were you influenced by Fresco's work, life work?
in, influence, yes, but I was never part of any movement.
Mm-hmm. Michael?
I was influenced by it. I answered some questions on their Facebook page, but I was never a working member of the Venus Project or the Zeitgeist movement. Right from the beginning, once I figured out how to make the transition, I would put it on both their sites, and none of them wanted to hear it. I actually got blocked by the Zeitgeist movement for giving them the solution to how we make the transition.
That's interesting because I found them to be. I've told people. I said I find them to be somewhat elitist and non-communicative. So, yeah, I have concerns about the Venus Project, and I mean their plans are so grandiose. I have no doubt that they'll never never come into existence. The transition
Well,
has to be slow, and it has to be
Brian,
one person at a
sorry,
time.
I have something to say about that. All big movements, either Ubuntu, the Venus Project, the Zeitgeist movement, and any other movement, the reason why they got big, and listen good, this is a big one. It's hard to understand.
Yeah.
The reason why they got big because they do not offer a solution. What they are offering is the future vision of the solution, but they're not offering the solution, the transition, the work, the mindset change that we need to do, and that is not a seller. A movement at the moment will not become big when you are asking people to do hard work, of work on themselves, to grow spiritually, to think differently, to do experiences, to go towards the fear instead of away from the fear. So that is not a selling item, but that is necessary. And like I said, the Venus Project, they were the first inspiration that I got about 5 years ago. I got it. I got in. I I found out about the Venus Project about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was something that I loved. I was really inspired without really knowing what it was exactly, and how can I use that information. But when you listen to either Zeitgeist or anyone, maybe except Ubuntu would be an exception probably. Um, but they're not really offering any real solution in the transition. Me sitting in front of my computer and watching videos and watching conferences, uh, at the end of it, what can I do really? I'm still lost. All I can do is cross my fingers and hope that enough people do it, and that I'll embark. That is not that's disempowerment. And what we are offering, we are probably one of the few people on the probably on the planet. Hopefully, I'm wrong. That are actually offering extremely simple, doable, and right at the moment. And even a single individual can start this. And once you get three people in your community, just three people, you and two other people, you can start a sharing economy. It is so simple. It is so, and people still don't get it because in this process there's a lot of self uh, evolution to do. There's a lot of self questioning and thinking differently and watching videos and talking to people and experimenting, going towards the fear. And this is an anti-carrot proposition of what I'm doing. It's an anti-carrot, and people don't like anti-carrot items. They like a carrot always, right now, and that's not it. This is not it. The carrot is going to be. There's a huge, beautiful carrot waiting for us. But we have to work for it until we reach it. We have to work for it inside us and outside us. Inside us first, and any all those movements do not mention a single word about what we're trying to pass as a message tonight in this show. No one mentions anything about this. They talk about robots. They talk about villages. Jacques Fresco talks about cities on water, on sea. Come on, we don't need to talk about that. Sure, that might happen in the future. What is that going to do to me now? How can I use that information right now? I can't. All I'm going to do is dream and keep on dreaming until I die. That's what's going to happen with that information. So we need to give people solutions. Just three people in your village. Come on, we can do this just about anywhere in the world. And if you don't find those three people, that's fine. Michael is doing something else. He can maybe explain you. Go work for free, like 3 hours a week somewhere. Take your spiritual nourishment there. Find solutions. Let's become creators instead of just waiting around until somebody else does it for us. There you go. That's my rant for tonight.
No, Rafi, that was excellent. And I do have to congratulate you because you've done what's the difficult move, which is to actually create something concrete in the physical world. I mean, I have this debate with a lot of people who say they're deeply spiritual and they're going to change and fix the planet by meditating. And I say,
Yeah.
well, I mean, well, I'm glad you meditate. It's probably good for you personally, but I don't think it's going to have too much effect on the planet. They're confusing things. So yeah, moving beyond thinking into actually doing is this is the toughest transition.
Meditation is good, but it's only half the work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really is an amazing challenge. We've been all brought up, as Michael said, that the me comes before the we, when it's actually the other way around. The we has to come before the me. And then once we figure that out, and like I say, I've talked to people who've got these great communities going, and they're beautiful and they're wonderful, and you know, a lot of them may fail. I had a couple start on my show. I thought they're gonna succeed, but when it came down to brass tacks and trying to figure things out and agree on certain issues, they couldn't. So they fell apart before they even got started. But you know, it is very difficult what you're doing, Rafi, and I got to congratulate you, man. You've really done it. I mean, you've got people working together.
Well,
that's beautiful. You're having meetings every week. I mean, that's fantastic.
Just two quick things before I give the mic to Michael. One is I get that a lot. Congratulations. I mean, I don't understand why people congratulate me. I would be it would be way more scary to do nothing. I mean, to stay in the slavery system and all my life and die and my kids to go through that freaks the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So why are people congratulating me to try to free myself and others around me? I'm trying to go the easy route, not the hard route. The hard route would be not to do nothing. That's scary. That probably takes courage. How can you last a whole lifetime in the system without trying to accomplish anything? So it's easy. It has to be easy. It's an obvious choice. And I forgot the second point. I'll remember after. Go ahead, Michael. Your turn.
Rafi, you know you're getting old when two things happen. Number one, you start to forget. I forget what number two is.
Welcome to the club.
Now, what I see the biggest problem is the acceptance. You have to accept that you've been living a lie your whole lives. Your parents have been living a lie. They lied to you about the money system unknowingly. They thought they were telling you the truth. They were lying to you. They're slaves. They don't realize they're slaves. You're looking back, you're talking thousands of years. You have to accept that we've been slaves when all the time we keep saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and at the end, the land of the free. We are not free. As long as there's money, we are not free. We can go off into a bunch of things. Let me just bring up, some people always say, well, if we use gold and silver for money, then we won't have the problems we have. I said, you don't understand. All financial values are a scam. So let's say we have $1 billion worth of gold and silver. That means we could only print out $1 billion because we're backing it by the gold and silver. Well, if we need $1 billion every week, and next week we only mined $500 million of gold and silver, so we now have a total of $1.5 billion, but the economy requires $2 billion because people are working, earning money. The only thing they can do is say, okay, well, that gold and silver that we now say is valued $1.5 billion, it's now worth $2 billion, and now we can loan out another $1 billion this week. And at the same time, they still don't print out the money for the interest. So you're still having the same trouble. It's all a scam. People are looking for these different ways. Let's do time banks. Let's do this. Let's do that. You don't need it. All you have to do is share the gift economy. That's all we need. See, the money system and the system itself only cares about itself. See what Warren is doing with his friend, that sharing, that hurts the money economy. The system wants Warren paying rent. The system wants Warren being paid and paying taxes to keep itself going. It doesn't want to hear, oh, Warren only has to work 20 hours a week, or only has to work 5 hours a week, or eventually only has to work 3 hours a week. No, it wants you working. My neighbor works 100 hours some weeks. That's what the system wants. He gives half his money, goes right to taxes. That's what the system wants and requires. Anytime we share, it's good for people. What's good for people is usually bad for the money system. It's good for Warren to have free rent and trade his services. It's bad for the money system. We have to choose. Is it the money system or people? Is it the money system or is it the ecology? Money requires constant and never-ending growth on a finite planet. Well, how many trees are we going to knock down? How much more water are we going to pollute? That's our macro home. I tell people, you live in a micro home. Your house is the micro. If you were to go in one of your rooms and just set it on fire, your whole house would burn down. Well, our macro home is the planet Earth. We're knocking down all these rainforests all over the world. We're polluting the water everywhere. The Fukushima is still throwing nuclear radiation into the ocean every day. It's destroying life in the oceans. And everybody just goes to work like nothing's happening. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's they think it's easier to live in denial, but in the end, it's really going to come back to bite us big time.
Yeah, well, they say ignorance is bliss. In a way, it is. But if the earth gets destroyed and you can't breathe the air and you can't drink the water anymore, we all die. So you were blissed the whole time thinking, hey, everything's fine. It's like when I talk to rich people, they'll tell me, well, the money system's been fine by me. Yeah, well, you're one of the 5% that it really works for. You're still a slave. Donald Trump is still a free range economic slave. He still has to work for money. Now, he can lay back now because he's accumulated enough money. But there was one time he was worth negative $1 billion. He almost lost it all. The only real non slaves are the people that own the banks, the private organizations, the people who own that. They own the world. They don't care who runs the world, they own the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the banking system has to be brought down before we're going to have a lot of change, and that's a big part of the Liberty Beacon movement, which we spoke about earlier. That's one of their big one of their big goals. So, what was I going to ask you next? Now, what? So we're living in this our resource-based economy, and what do we? This was something I remember when I was a student in political science, and we talked about the ideas of like communism and everybody sharing, and the professor would say, well, what do you do with the lazy people? What do you do with the people who do not want to make their contribution to the system? What's your answer to that?
Rafi, you can take that one for now. I'll answer after you.
Well, the problem we're having is the opposite of that. People, like I said earlier, people don't want to take advantage of others. Uh, are people lazy by nature? Does human nature exist? How does how what Jacques Fresco says? Human nature does not exist. We are products of our environment. Um, so if we grow in a system where we learn that we should work less and make more, that's called bottom line. That's called profit. That's called enrichment. Make your money work for you instead of you working for your money. Although that economical language, we learn very fast that work is not good. Making money is good, but work is not good. What is work? Work is contributing to your community, to your immediate community and worldwide community. That's contribution. That's why I guess Michael Tellinger called it contributionism. So lazy people. Okay, why is someone lazy? Why are we tagging them as lazy? At one point, I had written an article saying that I admire lazy people. At least they are honest. I admire lazy people way more than people who put their suits and ties and go to work 60 hours a week.
Or
Because
Rafi,
those,
let me make it more immediate for you. Let's say you
yeah,
bring someone into your gifting system, and all they
okay.
want to do is take and not give anything back ever. Is that a problem for the gifting system?
I'll answer that. So far hasn't happened. I was in a bartering
Well,
system
if
for
it
about four
happened,
years.
what would you do?
Okay. If it will happen, it's called communication, honest, open communication. It's called NVC, nonviolent communication. It's also called sociocracy, which if there's a problem, you bring the problem to the group, and the group, the collective intelligence will deal with the situation. It's communication, and honest communication. That's the solution. And transparency. Get the word out. What's happening? I'm concerned. We don't need to insult. We don't need to fight. We don't need to to duel it out. I mean, that person is human being. He's living through things. He has a mindset telling him that he needs to cheat. He needs to work less and and cheat the system, cheat the group. So if that person, if there's nothing to do with that person, I don't know. I mean, you ask me a question. I don't have a concrete example in front of me, but there are ways of dealing with situations like that. And if nothing works and we don't come to an agreement with the person, well, that person can leave the group. But from my experience, as I was saying, I've been in the bartering system for 4 years. That never existed. Those type of people are not attracted to the sharing economy, to even for bartering system, because those kind of people want money. That's a totally money mindset. The people who want to cheat, that's a mindset that almost does not exist in the bartering or anything else than money. That has been my experience for the last 6 years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Uh,
I think with your system, and as soon as somebody sees even the thought of having to actually give something away without having received anything in return, they say, "Oh God,
yeah,
this is nonsense. How can I ever do this? This is
but the
people are
question
really not."
that arises, let's say somebody can argue that we're only 20 people. It's easy to control 20 people. How about when we're 2,000? But by the time we reach from now to 2000, a lot of things are going to change. The mindset will evolve by then. Many other things will evolve. We'll have maybe not control systems, but we'll have guidelines, or I don't know, whatever. It's in creation. At the moment we are creating something that has never existed ever in human life. Never. We're creating something totally new, that the sharing economy worldwide or community wide, not within a closed group, not within a friends group and family groups, but worldwide with total strangers. We're just giving away services. So it's there's a lot of question marks, but we should not be afraid of those question marks. We need to experiment to find answers, the answers of these questions. But we have to do, instead of just think and be afraid and become mentally paralyzed. Uh, there's a couple of things I like to just mention. I remembered what I forgot earlier. The the me, the me. We were talking about the me and the we. The me rarely includes the we, but the we always includes the me, and that is why we have to focus on the we, because the we, I am in the we always, 100% of the time. So when we talk about the we are also talking about the me. So just to make to use simple language, because this is a simple solution. And also something you mentioned, Brian, earlier, that at the end, at some point, it's going to come and bite us. It's been biting us for decades, or for even way longer than that. The stats say that there's 21,000 people who die a day per day just by starvation. 21,000 people a day. That's, I think the average is about four a second. So if that's not biting on our ass, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, half the world is basically perished in the last 30, 40 years. I mean,
Yeah.
the last
Just to put things in
we're in an extinction event. Yes. What I mean is that the person who's in denial, they're waiting for their time to be directly affected, and they don't see it. And yeah, that's what I was trying to say. But yeah, there's no doubt about it, Rafi. I mean, we do have to look for alternatives, because we really are in a tough position. And yeah. It's
and again, we come to human connection. If we don't feel connected with others, we don't give a damn about the 21,000 who die by hunger.
Yeah,
we don't give a damn. We don't. Yeah, we care. Maybe it feels bad, but everything back to normal next morning, as if nothing's happening, because there's no connection. There's no spiritual connection. And every single person who calls themselves spiritual, I would recommend them, if they're not doing these type of works, community works, I would recommend them to stop calling themselves spiritual. By meditating, you don't become spiritual all of a sudden. It's your actions who make you spiritual. What actions are you doing? How much do you care for other human beings dying on the planet, avoidable deaths? There are millions and millions every single day who are dying unnecessarily, not only by hunger, disease, war, and you name it. By crime, unnecessary crimes. There's hundreds of millions in prison unnecessarily because of the system. What are you doing to change this, besides meditating?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thought.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, the greatest spiritual act is to help someone who needs help, or to offer, like you say, what you're trying to do, to create a mindset that will meet the needs of all, not just a few. And that's nature's way. Nature meets the needs of all, and the human has just lost its way and forgotten how to do that. And and what you guys are doing is great, because you're offering another way. And there's many other ways, but your way is a good way. And I promote everyone who's doing something good to try to fix this planet. And you guys are doing, I think, some great work, and you're offering alternatives that are starting to pick up. and to grab what's the word I'm looking for? Get some traction on this planet. And that's it's going to take time, like you say. It isn't going to happen overnight. And I look forward to interviewing again, Rafi and Michael, in 6 months and seeing what sort of progress you've made in your efforts to. I'm just thinking about courses and stuff. Have you guys thought about doing a course or some sort of outreach or anything like that? Or Rafi, you're saying you have to be concrete. You just have to have a meeting and say, let's do it.
In my here, there's a small community. I'm in Sutton. There's 3 or 4,000 population. So I advertise, I publicize on Facebook. Besides the weekly meetings that we do, I talk about customers. I mean, I'm a very public figure in having a business here in a small village. So I have multiple conversations in a week with people. So that to me is a learning curve for me and for the people I talk to. So I don't, but I would love to organize meetings, but I mean courses, as you call it, or workshops. Like I said, there's no interest because I'm proposing something, an anti-carrot. I'm trying to sell an anti-carrot product, something that they have to have to go towards their fears. So it's not a very sellable item at the moment. So we'll have to show them by example, not by talk. Talk is very cheap.
Mm-hmm. But it did start with a meeting. You did start with a vision, and you presented
Yes.
it to a certain amount of people, and then they came forward. But now you've
Yes.
got this little impetus going, and you're hoping through these people who are active to bring in others, right? I guess you have these meetings every week, so you're hoping to attract new people into the group.
Yeah, sure. We invite the new members to come in prior to the meetings to have an hour one-on-one meeting, so I can explain thoroughly and I can answer all their questions before they embark in the group. So I do that regularly. We had 2 members added for the last couple of weeks. The one thing that's coming up, Brian, at the moment is I have a lot of I have some anger in me on this topic, mainly the multiple conversations that I've had and all the other point of views defending money, the monetary system. I have many spiritual people tell me that the money system is not a problem. We are the problems. It's not money. It's the way we use money. Uh, that to me, that type of perception of money to me, that person is a part of the problem. Uh, if you are not, no matter what you're doing in your life, you could be an amazing people. I know amazing people here in Sutton. I mean, really amazing people. People are really hard at the right place, and they do a lot of effort. They into communication and empathy, all that stuff, all the kit. But they don't see the disease that any money is. No matter just the mere existence of money or barter or accounting, uh, they don't see the disease that all that is, and they keep on defending all the knowledge they have, all the level of awareness they have. They still don't see that, and that makes me very angry and very frustrated, and I really don't know how to deal with a situation like that. And and I try to avoid using vulgar or a strong language, saying that you are a part of the problem if you don't think money is a problem. Money in itself, not the way we use money in itself. uh, I had to get that out.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's true. I mean, I've had many similar discussions with people about the money god and how we. Well, I favor organic money, and we've had that discussion, and maybe we'll have that in another show, like creating an organic money that will help save the planet. I think that's a stepping stone in the right direction. But I do like what you're doing, and I think it takes a very together and advanced person to be able to gift. I mean, this is not something that comes easy to people. Like you say, the carrot's at the other end. It's not at the front. It's at the back. So it's kind of like, I don't know what can I say. You pick up a violin, you have to learn to play it. It takes many years. So this thing you're trying to do is going to take many years, but keep at it, and maybe use your group to flush out your frustrations, and because it doesn't really help when you get mad at people, because that just pushes more walls than anything. And And one of the things I try to do in my show is try to get people who are moving in the same direction to move in concert and love difference, and see that everyone sees things a bit differently, and take the time. I mean, this is one of the things I've heard when people set up eco villages, is that the ones that took the time, found the right people, had the conversation many times, looked at all the issues, that they're the ones that were successful. So you got to put in the time. You got to have the discussion. You got to make your points. And I can tell you right now, if I was living in Sutton, I join your group. I mean, I think it's beautiful. And I don't, but it's not too practical. But is there any way you can think of connecting your group to communities outside of Sutton? I know I've introduced you to one woman who's living in near Mont Tremblant, and she's part of that community. And I'm hoping to move at some point up there too, into that community, or that neighborhood. So, have you thought of ways of joining your community to other communities, other smaller communities in Quebec or other places?
Well, what I would love to do at some point is that once our group is strong enough and is rolling by itself, I would love to go and meet other people who are interested in doing this and help them out for free of charge. And maybe even stay there for a few days and do meetings with them and do workshops with them, see how to do things, and get this going all over the place. We need this thousands of places just in Quebec alone. And at some point, all the dots will join each other. We're not there yet. We're developing and growing our group here in Sutton. That takes a lot of energy
Yeah.
and time.
Oh yeah. No. You need the microcosm and then grow from that. I agree.
Yep, that's right.
Keep your efforts there, and that's great. And guys like Michael can help you. And Michael, are you working on any concrete projects? Have you got any more meetings planned? It may take like 20 meetings to get enough people to find the right people. Have you had any?
Constantly. I have a shirt that says "Work less, have more." Sharing down one arm and together down the other arm. I pass out flyers, cards. Let me get back to that laziness issue you were talking about. Let's say I'm passionate about making furniture. I'll do it 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week because I'm passionate about it. It's what I enjoy doing. It's what I'm put on earth to do. But in the money system, there's only so many jobs available for people to make furniture. So I go looking for jobs making furniture. I can't find one. But I need money to live. The money system requires that I have money to pay rent, to pay this, pay that, or else I'm homeless and I'm on the street. So I have to take the first job that I find that becomes available. Maybe it's flipping hamburgers at a burger joint. Now, I'm not passionate about that. I'm passionate about furniture. So am I lazy because I'm not passionate about flipping hamburgers? No. I'm passionate about making furniture. It's the money system that's forcing me to do something I'm not passionate about. Number two, if working together, even now we could work just 20 hours a week. Isn't that a carrot? Like we keep talking about the carrot. To me, that's a carrot. Right now, we could all work 20 hours a week if we have enough people in the town working together. We need about 5% of the population of any town working together. That'll bring down the whole money system in enough towns. That to me is a carrot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, could you present that in a seminar in a convincing way, do you think?
I really don't organize things. I just talk whatever comes out from the universe. That's how I talk. I'm not a good speaker type. Those guys need their notes and all that. I never let my subject get in the way of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
What's the other mention? Rafi, you mentioned you used to do the choose price. Why don't you mention the new system you have with your new sign you put on the door?
You there, Rafi?
Okay, yeah, I'm here. I had it muted. About a week ago, I put a sign saying that would you like a regular service or would you like to receive free services, and ask me how it works. So basically, I'm inviting people to ask questions, see what is this thing about,
I
how
love
can
that. That's a great sign.
yeah, I put it in French and English right at the door. Everybody that comes in is able to see it. But surprisingly, only one person asked me that question, and it was jokingly asked. He wasn't really serious about knowing how that works exactly. After like 3 years of doing stuff like that, people are getting used to my crazy stuff, my crazy projects, ideas. So maybe they're kind of shy about asking me questions like that because, again, it's discomfort that comes up and people don't know how to react. So we'll give it some time. I'll put the sign there as much as it needs to be, and recruit other people, and this will also create more chances, more occasions to get into conversations and one-on-one conversations with people, with customers.
Do you think most people in the small town there know about what you're doing? Have they heard about it? I would think if you've been promoting it for 3 years that you've exhausted your potential audience.
Yes, everybody knows how crazy I am. About 3 years ago, when I had just started this, I was doing almost nothing at the time. I had a group of kids that came in. My friend was here with me also, who's been with me at the beginning. And my friend called me out. He said, "Rafi, come here for a second." And one of the girls, they were like 10 or 12 years old, turned at me. He said, "You're Rafi?" I said, "Yeah." Uh, and I told her, "You've heard about me?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "You're awesome." And what I got from that is that people are talking like behind my back, in a good way. So they're talking about what I'm doing. They're questioning it. Maybe they're saying, "Wow, this guy he's onto something," but it's not enough though for them to have a mass movement for hundreds of people to join all of a sudden. But it's probably a good thing, like Michael said, we can have half the village embark in the sharing economy, because I still have to make money. No, it has to. It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen, I guess. And so that kind of relieves my urgency that it has to happen fast. So if it has to go to like organic rhythm, that to let organically things fall in its place. So the how you call it in English, to have the mass the masses to join the movement. It's gonna have to happen at the right time. So this apparently is not, obviously is not the right time, because we're still 21. I mean, it's a good number, especially in a small village, but it's gonna grow organically, so I'm okay with that. I'm just anxious that things fall into place fast, but you can't really make a plant grow faster than it does.
Yeah. Okay. But we're getting near the end of the show here, guys. But so I want to make sure that people know how to connect with Rafi and Michael and to further the discussion on this really important topic. So Rafi or Michael, why don't you start? What's the best way to reach you, Michael?
You go to Build a Hybrid RBE Community over on Facebook. And you can also go look at worklesshavemore.com. There's some videos there. And there's a few more videos over at liveforfreeinrbe.com.
RBE, resource-based economy, folks. That's what that means. Okay. Yeah. What about your Facebook page, Michael?
It's easy to meet me through the other one. That's where I spend a lot of my time. But if people want to friend me, it's Michael E.V. Knight. Just look. I have over 2,000 friends. Just look for that.
EV, folks. Egg V, Venus. Okay. Rafi, what's the best way to connect with you?
Facebook would be a good place. Rafi is Rafi, Oneness, ONENESS. That would be the best way to hopefully people have Facebook to contact me. And if anybody wants to contact and would like to start a sharing economy, let me know. We'll Skype and I'll do whatever I can to help you.
Okay. And you don't have a web page for your group yet in Sutton?
Yeah, we do, but it's not our own webpage. It's called Hilo. I had mentioned before. Hylo. It's not a public. It's a closed group. It's only within the group sharing services.
Oh, okay.
But we don't have a web page where you can go and read about us, and not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought that was a public page, but no.
No.
All right. Okay. That's good to know. Warren, any more questions for the? We got about 5 minutes left here, Warren. Any more questions?
I appreciate that. I've been listening, and well, I think this is a super great program. We just have to figure out a way how to get it to more people and start growing it, from the stages that it's in, and get it around to all the people. It's a great program. Glad to listen to you guys tonight.
Are you in any social groups? I think you go to Bible. You have a Bible study. Warren?
Uh, not anything, excuse me, not anything formal. We just have a group that meets on the weekends sometimes to talk about Bible issues and how the Bible relates to things that are going on today in the world today, and how we can help solve some of those problems. And definitely, food is a big problem. Good food, organic food, healthy food, and it's a major problem. And how to grow it and how to share is a problem. Americans, I think, have, at least here in America, we have forgotten how to share. And this is a good message of sharing that we need to hear.
Yeah. Would you consider having Rafi or Michael talk to your group, let's say by Skype?
Yes, they might consider it. I will certainly find out and talk to them this weekend. And if it's okay, I'll get back in touch with you, Brian, and let you know and see if we can get it hooked up.
Yeah, I think any group who's involved with studying the Bible might be interested in learning to spread the love of Christ and doing it in a way that is practical and concrete.
Sure. Absolutely, the Christ was a very practical person, and this fits right in with the being practical in everyday living, and that's to me that's one of the beauty parts of this sharing program is that it's very simple and easy. It's just as the guys say, the problem is just finding the people to do the work to get it started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was I gonna say?
Right.
I guess I'm gonna have to say, guys, that we're just about done, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking about the hybrid community. Oh yes, that's what I was going to mention. I know that the hybrid community is something that we've talked about on the Liberty Beacon site, which is I'm now a part of their core team of contributors to the Liberty Beacon movement. Things are moving along very well there. And if you guys, either one of you, wanted to submit an article to the website, we have a huge following worldwide. I think they'd be more than willing to consider putting it up as a contributing author to the site. And with that kind of exposure, it might help you to expand your audience and your group of hopefully interested participants in doing this. So either one of you is interested in submitting something to the Liberty Beacon?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. It's I have a 3-step program. One, inform yourself how all this works. You can do that from home on your computer. 2 is to find 2 other people in your neighborhood who like to do this also. So inform them also and guide them through the process of how it works and answer the questions they might have. For example, who will build the roads and how will we pay the rent? Well, there won't be any rent to pay in the free world. And number 3 would be, once you find those 2 people or more, is to start growing slowly and inviting other people to grow the group. And that's it. It's a 3-step program. And it starts with one person informing themselves, starting the mind change, talking to people, experimenting, small experiments. Go to a grocery store, for example, and open the door to people. Just stay there and open the door. Help the pregnant and the elderly with their bags to the car. That kind of stuff, small stuff. Any one single person anywhere on the planet, they can do this. They don't need any finances. They don't need any groups to do this. You start with that. Talk to people. Get to know the people in your neighborhood. It's all about connecting with others, and that's it. And do I need to write an article about this? Maybe it's too simple for people to understand. I could write maybe a paragraph or 2. That's all it takes.
Well, like I say, we do have a fairly large audience. It's worldwide, and I think we're in like 40 different countries now in terms of having different sites. It's it would take me a long time to get into it, but they've got some very, very advanced people in website design, and they know how to, get the message out. And
Yeah.
so I think if you wanted to submit something, I know that there's been some articles about it already put up. I know that Roger Landry is a fan of the resource-based economy model. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for you guys. And
Sure.
it's just, I know I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, sure. We're about the transition, not the resource-based economy. We're about the transition. We're about the present moment.
Well,
What?
whatever you want to call it. I mean,
Yeah.
the gift economy is something that most people don't know about. So it'd be something new and something, that people might want really,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
this is great. I mean, I like
Yeah.
this idea. I'd love to get involved. And maybe they
Sure.
could support you from from outside of the group,
Yeah.
outside of your
Yeah.
community in
Sure.
some way.
Sure.
So it's all about making connections. That's what I've discovered on my show. It's meeting the right people and then say, hey, let's work together.
Yeah.
I'll help you if you'll help me. And not actually with me, it's been mostly I'll help you and don't even worry about helping me. It's been I've used a gift connection system, and it's created some amazing synergies between people. And I believe in the gift economy, and I believe in the gift connection system.
The thing.
I